And sometimes I will say this too, I struggle with this. It is the weirdest thing. I think it's just part of being an entrepreneur and just the way our minds work. But sometimes when we have those opportunities to really focus and lock in, it can feel a little different and uncomfortable to not have so much going on. Like, it's weird. It's like, okay, this is good. I've got the focus. This is maybe new, but shouldn't I be doing something else? Like, shouldn't I be having more that coming up? No, you shouldn't.
And we've said this, like, you will get ideas all the time and you just got to figure out, like, is it the right time for this? So having strategic alignment, can be very helpful. And yeah, sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, pump your brakes. Like, let's realistically think, is this going to help? Welcome back to Hot Tea with Umo and Bri, where we spill the real tea on sustainable business growth. So today we're talking about a challenge that almost every entrepreneur faces, having too many ideas and not enough execution. So if your notes app is full, like mine, your brain never stops brainstorming and you're constantly wondering which idea to pursue next, this episode is for you. So today we're breaking down how to prioritize, focus, and actually move the needle in your business. So we're going to start off with talking about why we get stuck in idea mode, right? Like I think for me, one thing we've realized is that ideas come very easily. At least for me, they always have. Like, ideas come all the time. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, you see a problem and it's like, oh, I know how to fix that. We could fix that with this. We could fix that with that. But the execution piece can be difficult because even though we're creative and we got all these ideas, like, and we're excited, it doesn't mean that we can actually step in and actually execute it. Like, yes, it's exciting and it's that new, fresh, oh my gosh, like that adrenaline. I don't know for you, for me at least, like, my heart starts beating. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited about this idea. But the execution piece can be difficult. So what are your thoughts, ideas, all the things?
I mean, it is. That's just kind of part of, like you said, what just makes us who we are. And we're just wired that way.
Mhm.
We always have ideas. We're always thinking of something, always sparks an idea.
Yeah.
Like it literally happens to me, gosh, on a weekly basis, sometimes daily. Um, yeah, but it can be overwhelming at times
Yeah.
because you could have a complete plan of, hey, this is what's coming up next this month,
Mhm.
this quarter. And then, all of a sudden you have an idea and then you get derailed and you start putting time towards that idea and taking you off the beaten path of what you have set in front of your face to accomplish.
Mhm.
So I think that just naturally over the years, as I've matured as a business owner and I've had these situations happen, and then I, see the unfortunate outcome of my decisions, I've learned to really be careful and just, take a hold of, the idea that not everything that comes to mind needs to be done. Truly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, because there's always going to be opportunities. There's always going to be something we can do, but should we do it? Is
Right.
it contributing to our overall goals, our business goals,
Mhm.
whether it's immediate or long term? A lot
Yeah.
of times those ideas are actually distractions.
That's so, girl, that's a word right there. They can be
It
distractions.
is.
They really can be. And I
Hmm.
know, like, if you're type A personality, you might get an idea. And then as you start processing how you're actually going to do it, that drive for perfection can throw you off completely and be like, well,
Yeah.
if I'm going to do this, then I've also got to do this, and I've also got to do that, and I've also got to do this. And I know for me, there have been times where I'll have all these ideas and I'll start writing things down. Then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I also need this. So then I have a little bubble over there and it's like, I also need that. And I've got a bubble over there. So again, like, the execution piece can be difficult when you have all of these ideas. And like you said, like, there's always going to be opportunities and there's always going to be things out there that you can do. But should you do them? You got to figure that out because you can be very easily overwhelmed and end up burning yourself out by taking on all the things. And we've talked about that
Yeah.
before on this podcast.
Yes, the shiny object syndrome is, what we call it. It's like, oh gosh, somebody reached out to me about this. Or maybe if you're starting out, ooh, this looks like a great opportunity. That looks like a great opportunity. And then you find yourself having like, shoot, this was me at one point in time early on in my career, having like five, different contract job opportunities that I'm doing at once. In my mind, I'm like, I'm making money,
Yeah.
and it's opportunity after
Yep.
opportunity. And then I'm like, but then it's like funny because I would be like, gosh, I'm so stressed out.
Yeah. Like, why am I stressed?
Like,
What's going on?
what am I even doing? But then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, people are like, but we have like five jobs. Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't you be stressed out? Like, but it was because I was just so excited. I knew
Yeah.
that entrepreneurship was going to be a very unique journey for me because, again, there was nothing, there was no path to follow. Didn't really even have a mentor. I was just like, I know what I want to do. Don't really have the blueprint to get there.
Yeah.
So probably should take these opportunities as they come. And not to say that I regret any of those. Actually, I definitely do. But I will say,
I know I do.
they shaped me into who I am today.
Sure.
And it definitely, I think, early on has helped me now be able to quickly identify and say, absolutely not.
Not doing it.
Or no, that's pretty dope. That's what I need to go ahead and look more into. But
Yeah.
what's the timing, and then kind of critically think about where and if it can fit. So, sometimes, hopefully a lot of times you learn from your mistakes like we have, but just know that, gosh, there's going to be a ton of opportunities that are constantly thrown your way. And don't just always be looking to chase, that shiny object, because again, it takes a lot of time and effort and focus, consistency to truly make your business what you want it to be.
That's so good. Yeah, I definitely regret some actions that I've taken. And, because sometimes you get an idea and then you dive all the way in and then
Man.
you're 10 feet deep and it's like, wait a minute. I should have paused on this. I should have probably thought this through a little more. But I think, taking action in some way, shape, or form does provide you with some clarity, right? Because even though you might not be diving all the way in, right? Even taking a small little bit of action to do your research, a little action to figure out what is this going to take, for me to do, that'll give you an answer on if it is something you should be taking more seriously or if it is just an idea that you need to shelf for a while, right? Like you do have to kind of step in it a little bit if it's an idea that you want to consider pursuing for real so that you can figure out if it is worth your time. You can't always just like wait, but at the same time, you'd also don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and just dive right in. Like that's crazy too, because I've done that and it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
And naturally, as entrepreneurs, we tend to be high achievers, right? Like people look at us and think that we're insane sometimes.
Yep.
Because we're always doing so much. So it's important to be a smart entrepreneur, an efficient entrepreneur, as we've already mentioned, knowing that like just because it's there doesn't mean that it's for you. And I will say though that a good way to look at things, another perspective, is this going to take my business and what I'm trying to accomplish forward, or is it going to hold me back? Right? I don't think that a lot of times, I know that I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't early on. I was just like, oh, that's cool. That's really neat. That's going to provide a lot of, revenue really fast or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't do the most important piece of it, which was thinking, hey, like, is this going to actually help me with what I'm doing with my business? And that's when you think about it, that's a super easy question to probably answer pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Honestly, in those situations.
When I think about that, like when we first started our business, I was like you, I was jumping at everything because one, I didn't have kids and I was, doing all the things and I was like, oh, that's cool. Let's do it. Whatever. But now 3 kids in, it gives you a different perspective because you're like, wait a minute, I don't have all the time in the world. So like, let me look at this from a different lens. So I will say changes in personal life also can kind of force you to look at all the ideas and say, what is going to be most realistic? What is
You're
going to
right.
help my business move forward? What is just this shiny object? Like, and what's a distraction? Like, I just feel like sometimes that can help too, and it can be harder when you have a schedule that is very, very open. It can be very easy to jump at all the ideas. Whenever you
Man.
have a little more limited time, you might be more choosy. So, for those of you that are still kind of jumping at all the ideas, take some time. And we'll talk about that now. So, like, how you decide what's actually coming first, right? This is very important when you're kind of going through all of your ideas. You have to figure out what's going to come first. And I know you mentioned it already, like the revenue impact. Like, how does this actually like change my business? Like, what problem is this going to solve or help me to solve, right? Like, is this going to help me to generate revenue right away? So I'll give you guys an example. We've been kind of diving into like corporate wellness. And so for us, it was like, okay, let's look at the grand scope of things. Revenue wise, is this going to really help our business in the future based off how we set it up? And how quickly will it generate revenue compared to the investments that we have to make upfront, right? So this is real time
Mm.
our business thinking through these things. And so you have to consider that stuff. You have to think about that, because if it's going to take you time up front to pour into it, you have to look at, okay, is this going to generate some revenue for me pretty quickly if I do it the right way, right? So that's just one thing that you have to think about when you're deciding what comes first.
For sure, man. I mean, definitely, especially when it comes to money. I mean, it's just,
Hmm.
it has to make sense. Another thing to think about is your capacity. Like, do you honestly have the ability to take it on and do all that's necessary to make it what it needs to be?
Hmm.
So, time, learning, having those resources available. Does it fit the current season that you're in? Funny story. I've never shared this before, but
Listen, I'm
there
like,
was a
come
point
on.
in time there was a point in time in my life, guys, where for some reason I decided that I just wanted to get all these specializations in my fitness, the fitness aspect of my who I am. And I decided to study for two separate certifications at the same dang time. Who does that?
Oh, God. Oh my goodness,
Going back
girl.
to what comes first, my capacity. At the time, I think my kids, gosh, they were like 1 and 2.
Oh my gosh, not toddlers. That's
Yeah,
crazy for real.
isn't it?
That's crazy for
So,
real.
but it just goes to show,
Yeah.
like, it's a great example of how sometimes we just kind of are like cuckoo, straight
Mhm.
up, like, oh, we have this, Superman, Superwoman cape, we can do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Just so, like, that's not that hard.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, guys,
Yeah.
just make it make
Yeah.
sense. Uh, that was not a good season for me to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you already mentioned, I had two kids, actually two kids under two, maybe two.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
had to have been
wild.
that. Um, Passed one, failed the other. I will say though, I'm a little toot my own horn. It was by a couple of points, but
Listen.
anyways,
Girl, I'm like,
but all that to
okay.
say, guys, just to guys give you a real life example of what not to do. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, don't take on two, or even like one major thing
Mhm.
when it's just not the right time.
Yeah.
Like, you have to look and at your capacity, the season that you're in. If it doesn't make sense, guess what? You can put it on the shelf
Yeah.
and do it at a time that makes more sense.
You can always
Lord
come
have
back to
mercy.
it. You can always come back to it because you'll get ideas. And we've said this, like, you will get ideas all the time, and you just got to figure out, like, is it the right time for this? So having strategic alignment, can be very helpful. And yeah, you sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, pump your brakes. Like, let's
Right.
realistically think, is this going to help? Right? Because We've all had, and sometimes you'll have somebody that will do that for you. Like I know my sister should be like, Bri, now you don't have no time to be doing this. I don't know why
Right.
you're agreeing, so sometimes you'll have
Yeah.
people in your corner that will tell you that for you. But if not, like, just thinking about how does what you're doing move you towards your long-term visions, your long-term goals, right? Like stuff that you already have in place, does it support that, or is it completely new? Like I dove into like fertility nutrition, and it's very different than some of the stuff that I'm already doing. And it was like a quick like, okay, this is something I'm really interested in. How can I tie it in? It's like, I don't know yet if it's going to tie in at
Yeah.
all. So I have to
Yeah.
figure out, is this, is it a long-term thing? Is it something that I circle back to later? Is it something that I just do on the side for the people that I know? Like how do I utilize that if I want to, right? So again, you got to audit that stuff, y'all, because you'll just
We
start
have
going
to.
after stuff and you'll end up with all these buckets and it'll be crazy. Listen, we're speaking from experience.
Man, if I could only tell my younger self what I know now,
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going on to our next point, you got to pick one, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We go from ideas to execution. You've got to pick one. Now, we just recently had an episode on AI, and this is where AI can definitely be a wonderful tool in
Mm-hmm.
supporting this by giving it the right prompts.
Yeah.
It can definitely give you that thought provoking feedback. Hey, here's what I've got going on
Mm-hmm.
currently. However, this is something else that's come up. Does it make sense for this to kind of fit in? These are my ideas. Like, you could actually put that stuff in
Yeah.
AI and it can really give you some, not always, but often,
Mm-hmm.
some decent thought-provoking feedback.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember that like focus really creates momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got to be able to stay focused,
Yeah.
especially for those that honestly just naturally have challenges with staying focused.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw fuel to the fire.
Right.
Don't make it harder for
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And everything just can't be something that you're doing right then and there. So this is where you can go back to the very basic principles of goal setting, revisiting the goals that you've had, the timelines that you have. Sometimes just
Mm-hmm.
putting that all in front of your face really can help bring perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not always thinking about that. Like
Yeah.
immediate, this is what I have. This is the action steps I said I was going to do. This is the
Mm-hmm.
time frame I said I wanted to do it in. We don't always have that in the forefront of our mind, but hopefully you have written that down. You have it somewhere to where you can pull it back out, look at it, and then ask yourself, does this actually make sense right now?
Mm-hmm.
And what is a priority right
Yeah.
now, considering the goals that I have set for myself?
Yeah, that's really good. And just like piggybacking off that, like setting goals and deadlines and things like that. Y'all, finish this project is not a goal, right? Like you have to actually like say, okay, this is the step within this project that I'm going to finish by this time, right? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of us can get caught up and put things on the back burner because you have this huge goal that really doesn't have much specificity. It's like, I'm just going to
Right.
finish this project by this date. And it's like, well, what are you going to do to get there? Right? Like you have to
Right.
actually like break down the action steps as you mentioned and put timelines to those and then go from there. And that will help you to stay
Yeah.
on track because you'll be able to see, okay, I'm making progress on this goal. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
checked off 3 of these action tasks already and I'm already halfway there, whatever that looks like. So again, using AI that can help you with those deadlines. It can help you put a schedule together that can say, hey, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is the date that I want this project to be ready by. I know these are the action steps. What's a realistic timeline, right? Like, what does that look like? What are the things? How quickly do I need to finish said projects, right? And
Right.
again, like if you have those dates, it can help you to just stick with it and hold you accountable because if you see, hey, I've got all these action steps and I have not gotten to one of them, then now it might
Mm.
be time to reconsider this particular project and say, I might have to circle back to this one a little bit later.
Right. And sometimes I will say this too. I struggle with this. It is the weirdest thing. I think it's just part of being an entrepreneur and just the way our minds work. But sometimes when we have those opportunities to really focus,
Mhm.
as you mentioned, and lock in, it can feel a little different and uncomfortable to not have so much going on.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, this is good. I've got the focus. This is maybe new.
Yeah.
But shouldn't I be doing something else? Like, shouldn't
Yeah.
I be having more that coming up?
Mhm.
No, you
Yep.
shouldn't.
Yep. Yeah.
You
Gosh, preach
shouldn't.
it, preach it.
You have a major project. You have a busy summer with kids,
Mhm.
whatever it is. It's okay
Yeah.
to not always have a ton of different things going on. So don't get so used to constantly doing so many things that you
Mhm.
don't know how to be able to stay in
Mhm.
a window of being able to be focused on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's real good. You preach right there because that is not a superpower of being like,
No.
I gotta have something. I gotta no. Sit there and do what it is that you need to
Yeah.
be doing in that
Execute.
moment. Oh my gosh, that's so good. And I think that like things that can help you too is like having people that can be like, hey, where you at on this? Right? Like your community support, whether that's a coach, right? Or peers or whatever, saying, hey, like you talked about this project, where we at on this? Y'all,
Right.
the times that Uma will text me and be like, girl, hey, where we at with this? And I'll be like, oh shoot, I forgot. It's so like I wait for Uma's text. Y'all, so we all have our things, but I appreciate y'all just don't know. She is my accountability partner. She'll be like, girl, what are you what's
Because
going
it
on?
keeps me on track too. Because listen, I need to make sure that I'm not doing, I'm doing what I need to do and supporting each other.
Yes,
Really is what it comes down
yes.
to, is keeping each other
Exactly.
kind of in check and on track.
Yeah.
So that's real talk right there.
Listen, y'all, legit, like legit. So get you Uma, and have your accountability, because sometimes we need that. We have so many things going
Yeah,
on.
I definitely need it.
Oh my gosh, as entrepreneurs, like you definitely need that. And it will help you just to continue to move forward because if you do actually want to achieve something and you already have the action steps set out, it's just a matter of moving to the next level, taking the next step.
Yeah.
Get somebody that'll push you right to that next step. So that way you can keep moving and start accomplishing some things because it does feel good when you start checking the boxes and say, okay,
Oh
yeah, we're
man,
one step closer. We're one step closer. Like that is a really, really good
that
feeling
really feels
as an
great.
entrepreneur.
It really does. I mean, guys, all that to say, I mean, there's so many things that you're always going to be able to have opportunities to do. And don't get caught up and don't get so excited that you lose your focus, because then you'll find yourself with a lot of stories like the both of us have,
Mhm.
saying we shouldn't have done this, we coulda, shoulda, woulda. You guys have this wonderful podcast with us to be able to give you tips and tricks
Mhm.
and let you, hopefully learn from some of our mistakes. So that's the tea for today. Great businesses aren't built on having the most ideas, they're built on executing the right ideas on a consistent basis.
Mhm.
If you're tired of spinning your wheels and want support from other founders who are taking action, come join our community platform, guys. Have we have such a great massive vision for this community, and we're so excited about all the things that we're able to accomplish, but we want you to join it. We want you
Mhm.
to be part of it and continue to give us, some ideas to better help you. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at Hot Tea with Uma and Bri. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow the podcast on your favorite listening platform. Until next time, guys, we'll see you.
Cheers.
Cheers.